What's up, everybody? Good morning. And we are on the trail. So the other day, it was raining, flash floods. You probably know this if you're in the States. It's all over. Flash floods been happening. I just saw this car that like a tree snapped and it fell on the car, and that shit is... I don't even know what you... does regular insurance cover that? Like Geico and all those things? But yeah, I hope you guys are feeling good, doing well, and all that good shit. It's 7 o'clock. I went to bed, woke up. The river is looking interesting. Got a little fog on it. I don't know if you can't see shit from back there. Looks ominous. Actually, it should be a little high because of the rain. But yeah, let me just jump into this. I got 3 big topics I want to talk about. Well, actually, for those who... Good morning.
Good morning.
For those who don't be watching the whole thing, I'm going to put the meat in the front of it, right? Does that sound right? Put the meat in front? Anyway, I'm going to be streaming tonight. I think I'm going to start at 5:30. I don't know. Because I'm trying to go to the gym after... I think I need to be at the gym at 7:30. I'm not sure. I'm going to put when I'll stream in the description. But this stream is going to be nice. Like when I get back to the house and I upload this video, I'm going to spend at least 4 or 5 hours researching how to make a proper stream with musics and intros and stuff. Like when you push a button, something's gonna happen. So it's gonna be nice, and I'm gonna write out a little script. So it's gonna be a compact thing. So we'll see. So that's either 6 o'clock or 5:30. All right. So I don't know if you can see this. Well, I don't know if you can see it, but it looks really nice the way the light is coming through and the little fog. But okay, back to the... Actually, let me see if I can get... Yeah, this is where you need like a camera, a nice camera, or the newest iPhone camera. That could do it too. All right, so let's see. So when I wake up, I have random thoughts, just things. And the thought I had this morning was, it was actually last night's thinking point that carried over into the morning. So, and this is important. I want your opinion on this. So I'm gonna write that in the description. I may put in the title. I'm not sure. You know, when it's in the title, it's important. Otherwise, I kind of bury it in the video. All right. So when I was younger, elementary, junior high school, when I would get into fights with my friends, you know, just some disagreement, not physical fights, but just... And I come home, my mom would see that I'm distraught. She said, "What's wrong?" Or she would know, because, you know, it was what it was. So either I'd explain it or she would just know what it was, because moms kind of have that sixth sense. And my mom would say, maybe she would ask, but I remember her saying this. She would say, "You didn't come, when you came into this world, you came alone. When you die, you'll die alone." And I remember hearing this a lot to the point where I might tattoo that on me. So I want to know, what's your feeling about that? Is that a harsh thing to say? It's the truth. You came into this world alone. Technically, you came with your mom and the doctors and the nurses. But you get the overall sense. You came alone and you die alone. But again, you could be dying around other people. But I think she meant it the way that I'm going to say. And yeah, so I kind of held on to that. And yeah, so now I'm back home, right? Now this kind of extended anywhere I was in the world, but specifically, I'm back home. And for the past 7 months, I haven't really met or hung out with my friends from school and, you know, people who live in my neighborhood. Technically, no one lives in my neighborhood, but, and one reason is because I'm not calling them up saying, hey, you want to hang out? Because, you know, people got family and shit to do. Makes sense. People don't really do what I do. Like, there's no one who's gonna sit around making music or talk about YouTube and, you know, stuff like that. So I'm just, and 3, I guess I'm grieving. I don't know how long grieving lasts for, and I don't know. My grieving's a little different. Like, my grieving is I'm just head first into my programs and music. You know, I'm not. And then, you know, all the shit that's happening, being home, dad, house, family issues. So yeah, I don't think I'm like the most exciting person to be around. So on my end, those are my excuses and reasons. Right? So I'm just chilling. But no one like magically appeared at my door like, hey Matt, what's going on? I seen some people pass by my house. Hey Matt, what's going on? And I passed one person's house and they're just like, hey Matt, come by anytime. So that's an invitation, but again, the 3 reasons I listed earlier. Now, for most days, you know, I'm out here making my video alone. And I go home and I work on my video alone. And then I work on some music alone. And then I go to the gym alone. So most of the time I'm sitting alone, just being busy. But sometimes, usually holidays, that's when it's like, wow, I'm really alone. And it gets, but then I remember what my mom said. You came into this world alone, you'll die alone. And it kind of puts it in perspective. It is what it is. So what do you think about that? Is that a strange way to go about life? Now, don't get me wrong. When I was in Japan, you know, I had more artists or creative people that I met. But same kind of, like, they could live across the street and we would never like run into each other across the street. We'd run into each other after some event down the way, maybe 20 minutes away. And we end up taking the bus or train back to our houses, which again, we lived across the street. And we'd have the most deepest, introspective-ist conversations, because you know how I be, right? There's one guy, man. I seen him. He's an interesting cat. He walked around with a cape, or not a cape, but like Morpheus long coat type of thing. He was an artist, you know, he's out there. Now, I'm out there in my own way, so I figured, hey, I'm sure we have some common thing, but we never really talk, and we never like made plans to hang out. So one day I was working at this station, and I look over and I see, we're gonna call him Morpheus. I see Morpheus sitting there, just kind of staring off into the distance, like. So I'm like, so he was so entranced that he didn't see me. So I was thinking, well, I don't talk to him anyway, so I'm just gonna go around him and keep it moving. But on this day, I decided, so I went up, I was like, hey, what's going on, man? He's like, hey, what's going on? And we sat there and talked for 2 hours. The only reason we stopped is because I did have another engagement to be at. And I'm like, shit, I gotta go. And I'm running down. And then it's like we made plans to do music and all that. But I've never seen him again. I see him online. And we like have mutual friends. And we always joke about, I think she liked him. And she's all like, have you seen him? Good morning. And I'm like, I ain't seen him. Or I see him in the comments of some of the models that I was working with. So we like are in the same circles, but we just never met. So, and this happens a lot to me. So maybe it's me. I don't know. So, moving on to the next one. Last week at my therapy session, the therapist said, I told her, I think in the last couple videos back, I said I feel shame for my situation. Ashamed. Like, I'm 41. I should be in a different space. Well, like in context, right? So I posted a video yesterday or 2 days ago. Just me making beats before I go to the gym. But I do that now, making beats before I go to the gym in the car tunes, right? And, I'm not doing much. I'm still learning how to use the SP404. And, I'm doing my thing. And it's not like playback, get it all polished and then set everything up. It's just, I go there like an hour before I got to go to the gym, sit in there, play around with stuff. And then after 35 minutes, I present or I post a video. And, first time. So I was figuring, how am I going to figure out how to mic it up? And since I'm in the car, I could just use the iPhone as the mic and then put. So, I post the video and, people are like, whatever. That's the response. Now, regard to that. Since I've been home, all the videos I post of me making music, nobody likes it. Very few people in my area like it. But when I was in Japan, a lot more people liked it. I cannot statistically put the numbers out, but I just remember I got a lot of, man, your stuff's so great, can't wait to see you. But now I'm here. But anyway, so I posted, I get love from people I never met, people from the beat making community, and what have you. Some people from Japan. And that's that. And then I posted another one, which was slightly better, because now because basically I'm recording myself and trying to clone myself, but got to work on the angles to make it look realistic. So I post the second one, life goes on. And I post on YouTube, whatever. So then I get this comment where it's like, yo, are you Jay Dilla? And I'm like, what? So I quickly respond, no, I'm not Jay Dilla. There's only one of him. Just a dude who likes to make music. And then I get another comment saying, I don't know how you ended up in my feed, but this shit's phenomenal. And then I get another one saying, wow, you got a vibe. And I'm like, what? So I checked the view count, because again, since I've been home, most of my videos on the music channel, they're getting like 40, the most was 100 views, but usually they're locked in around 25. I know, man, it is a fall from grace. That's just what it is. So then I check and it's up at 1,500. I'm like, what? Shit went low-key viral for me, which is pretty and then I look at my sub count and it jumped like 25 because of that video. And this video is like such a, like, it's not the greatest portrayal of what I do. Like, I'm trying to finger drum and it's all like not smooth. But yeah. But then here's the thing, right? Maybe it could have went super viral if I had a group of people sharing shit as it does. But again, it's not gonna happen. Well, it's unlikely that that's gonna happen till way after the fact. People sharing it when it's like on Oprah. Yo, Matt's on Oprah, share that shit. But then it's too late. But anyway, so back to the therapist, right? So that's a good point, or a happy point event, and I feel good about it. But she comes in, so let's say that happened the week before. So when I would go in there, she's like, so how's your week been? I don't lead with that because like, to put it in the context, I gotta explain how it works. 104 or 1,000 views is not so big on the internet. People are doing billion views, but it means a lot to me. So I lead with, life's great. My dad and I, we are, and I don't know, we're there. Because the thing with my dad, again, this happened. I would love to share it with everybody I come across to, but how do I explain this to my dad, or explain this to someone who doesn't watch YouTube, or explain this to... So I don't. I just keep it to myself, and I share it with you guys because you're watching me on YouTube, so you may have an understanding of how exciting it is to go a little bit viral for your video you posted. Now, again, that video, 2 seconds of work. The next video I posted, I had some little effects on there, and more work, but less views. It's like such a ironic way of how things work. Anyway, so I told this therapist that, I feel shame that, I knew I was going somewhere with it. So making that video, I don't feel ashamed. I feel like this is a culmination of everything I've been doing in my whole life. That's why it would happen that way. If I could pick up any beat machine and after a week or so figure out how to use it. Freestyle, I've been doing that forever. Combine the two, camera work, I could get it in. So that's everything. I am not ashamed of that. What I'm ashamed of is that I don't make money from that, which that was never my aim. But if you're in an area where everyone is kind of like, I make $1 billion, and then you're just like, I make a video that makes 1,000 views, that gap, it just feels like I'm jumping around, but that's what I do. I was at the gym yesterday, right? Zumba. And, everyone is more or less doing what they do. And then there was this one lady who comes in and she does extra. Like if the move is like, I'm not dancing here, but if the move was do this, she's doing, like she's just going at it, just doing so much extra. Now, I don't know why she does it extra like that. Like she just be doing her own thing, but she's enjoying herself. Now, we're jumping. When I was in Japan, right, this happened twice. The first time it happened, I just got to Japan, and well, maybe you don't know, but I only knew one Japanese person. I was in college and they were shy. So I just put that on everyone. Everybody in Japan is shy because the one that I met, now at Temple, there's, study abroad programs. So I seen a lot of Japanese students, but I never seen anyone within my area and within my circle. So I always saw a bunch of Japanese students kind of in a big group going here and there. And then I had one in my classroom and she was shy. And then I had some Asians, Vietnamese. But anyway, so my overall image is Asians are shy. That's a stereotype. It's not true. But that's what I felt going in Japan. I get to Japan and we get to the school, and then this guy, his name is Tomo. Tomo comes up to us like, hey man, what's going on? And he's just like super excited. He's like, my name's Tomo. Da, 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 da. And he's just like, I'm like, wow, you are definitely not shy. Like the first guy I met on the first day. So that kind of dispelled that idea. Japanese are shy. But he was mixed. It doesn't really matter, but he was Japanese and Lebanese, I believe. And I don't know if he was born in Japan but he was just a little different. For example, he claims, but I think he would do something like that. He had a gerbil, and he took the gerbil on the plane by putting the gerbil in his pants. And he showed a picture of a gerbil in his pants. Before Jackass, or maybe around Jackass, but before social media and doing dumb things just to do dumb things, he did a social experiment where he fell down the steps, and he wanted to see if Japanese people would help him, because he was also working on this kind of construct that Japanese people are da 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 da. But so this is the guy, but he was different in the same way I'm out here making videos. There's something in me that is just a little off. Not awful, not full of, but just different. We all have something. All right, jump a little further. I'm at school, a new school, and I see this young kid, and he comes up, and he had this big smile, and he's just smiling, and he had these big eyes on some like anime looking type, like Atomic Boy, Atom Boy. Atomic Boy? I don't remember. But he's just smiling and like you would look at him and you just get like entranced. Like he was just, so I'm thinking this guy is like Mr. Popularity, because he looked straight at you. He didn't look down. He smiled. And he would say hi. He'd try to talk to me. But then it turned out that he was in the special needs class. And he would smile and he would talk, but he I don't know. They never told me what he had or what he didn't have, but he wasn't, but something was, I won't say missing, just different about him, which led him to be that way. And yeah, at one of the graduations, they had to like hold him because he kept standing up and trying to get on stage. But yeah, so now we could jump back. So being home, I'm doing what I do. I made videos like this in Japan, and I was making videos before this in Temple, Philadelphia. Not so much the vlogging format, but I was still making videos like this. So I'm still doing what I always done. And you know, so when I'm around folks and it's like, what are you doing? What do you mean what I'm doing what I've always done? And then it's like, oh. So I just feel weird. I feel ashamed that, because she said, all right, so she said, all right, this is what the therapist said. You know, she asked me this question. She said, do you know the difference between shame and guilt? Now, I read a book all about shame because I was curious, again, why some people feel it and some people don't. And in this book, which this therapist never heard of, it talks about it's an internal thing. Good morning. It's an internal thing, like so remember, I don't know if you remember this, there was a woman, I think she was a reporter, media person, and she's on a plane. She's going to Africa. She's on a plane. So let's say she's leaving from New York. She gets on a plane. And as she's leaving, before she gets off into the takeoff, she tweets. She says, I'm going to Africa. I hope I don't get AIDS. That's what she tweeted to her friends. She wasn't like, she didn't have hundreds and thousands of followers. She had just her friends that she knows, right? She gets up into the air, and I guess one of her friends, or you know, it's I think it was a private message or a private tweet or whatever, but somehow it got out her little circle. And then someone was like, how can she say that? That is disrespectful. And then they send it, and then it sends, and now she's in the air, just enjoying her time. La 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 la. And now at the same time, there's people on the ground. Now, this is before cancel culture existed, but the concept was always there. So then they start, like, it gets millions and millions of retweets. I don't know Twitter like that. So retweets, and people are tweeting it, and it's like, we got to get her fired. That is disrespectful. And then it's going back and forth across the world. And then she gets, so now, right, end of the road. All right, so now she's about to land. And at this point, they made a timer. Some people made this kind of timer that's like 10 minutes or an hour until she lands. And it's just like counting down. And by this time, she got fired. The company that she was going to, for whatever, they found a tweet, they found it disrespectful, they got pressure from all sides. So when she got onto the airport, there's people there, people who don't know her, but ready with the cameras to like catch her reaction as their company's like, you're fired. And you know, she would go on to apologize. I'm so sorry. And, you know, years later, she's still apologizing. Like, it just disrupted her life. Then they talked about the whole book's about shame. So there's another person who, I'll try to put this book in the link for those who read books. But this guy was, an executive, and, you know, at work, he did work. You know, he did what he was paid to do, and he was paid well. Then in his private time, he liked to dress up and have women. He liked to. He liked to dress up like I can't remember. It's been a minute. He liked to dress up like a soldier and have women dress up like prisoners, and they would beat him or some shit like that. I don't know the details, but it was pretty like scandalous. Oh my gosh. So they try to, you know, get him fired. And it comes out, and he's just like, why are you in my business for? I ain't doing anything illegal. Like, yeah, but you dress up like this, and you have that. And he's like, yes, that's what I do in my private time. It's none of your business. And that's the story he went with. And then he never got fired, and you don't hear about it because 10 years later, I think the guy who wrote the book, he heard about these stories, and then he would research it and then go find these people to see if they have overcome that or if they're like still. So yeah, so I read this book. I was very impressed. So this is before cancel culture. Like Chris Brown, he didn't get canceled. He just went on to yeah. And I'm in the club like, didn't Chris Brown? But this song, yeah. So yeah, other people end their careers. So therapist, she goes, you know, so what's the difference between shame and guilt? And I'm trying to remember the book because he mentioned it. But I hate questions like that, man. If she would have emailed me or told me, when you come, I'm gonna ask you, but she doesn't know what I'm going to talk about. Because I just randomly be random. On some like Family Guy shit, just random. I'm pretty sure, well, I don't know. I don't know if she ever encountered a Matthew before. Because every week we kind of go on different directions. I don't, good for me, get it out. Because what I don't want to, like, my ex-girlfriend, she's like, how you doing? She knows me. She knows my situation. She knows my friends. Like, she said this to me, Matthew, you don't have friends. And this is in Japan. I'm like, there was no strict, like, I mean, sometimes it sucked. But, you know, she was straight to the point. And that was that. But she emailed me saying, how you doing? I don't want to detail everything that's going wrong, because who the hell wants that? I don't want people's sympathies. So I just said, there's a lot of shit that's sucky, but I'm working on music, doing Zumba. There you go. Keep it moving. But so therapist, shame, guilt. So I say shame starts with S and guilt starts with G, and then she laughs. And then she gives me the answer. Shame is a feeling, like your being. The closest parallel would be like poor. Poor is a mind state. If you say I'm poor, that's like you living in that moment. That's your identity, according to Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Broke is a state, an event. Like your arm is broken, and then your arm gets fixed. You have no money, and then you figure out how to get money. Poor, you can't fix poor. It's a mentality. So I want to say shame is like that, the mentality. Shame is in your core. Oh, this is how she's explained it. Where guilty is you did something, like you ate the cookie, or you took the cookie, and now you feel bad about that. Now, usually in these sessions, she might say something like this, and then I try to process it in real time. But I need more time than the 45 minutes. And then she's like, so what are you thinking? Like, let me think. I don't want to tell you what I'm thinking, because I'm trying to bounce shit back and forth. And I'm like, that does not apply to me. I don't feel shame because textbook definition. Shame is because you are a bad person. You're not worthy of XYZ. I don't believe that. I believe I am worthy of 1 billion views. I am worthy of having a group of people around me who do music and are interested in random shit. But at the same time, I don't feel worthy to be around people who don't do that shit. I don't want to waste people's time. Like, I don't feel bad. I mean, I don't like it, but if everyone just unsubscribed from me today en masse, and that would suck. But that's for the best, right? Because why watch something or someone that you don't want to watch? Get rid of that shit. And if I'm that shit in your life, let it go. That makes sense to me. But and in that case, I would not be worthy of your attention. Now I'm getting it confused because I'm layering all this on top of business, or mixing it with business concepts. So Marvel movies, I don't know if they're gonna get my money, because the newer movies are not the same as the older movies. They're not worthy of my pennies in my pocket. The stories are just a little different, you know? So let me know your thoughts about that. Shame, guilt. Shame, guilt. But yeah, man, I don't feel guilty for coming home. I don't feel ashamed for, I just feel ashamed. But ashamed is an adjective. Shame is a noun. But it doesn't, for me, I don't feel myself in those little boxes. Really, I think, so I like going to therapy because I could just kind of throw all my problems out there and have someone who's trained listen. But then at the other end, it's just like, I always leave the sessions kind of like on a cliffhanger. So what's next? And then we come back and it's like reset. Like, she's not like, when I walk in this Thursday, It's not like, so we started with shame and guilt. It's gonna be, so how are you feeling this week? And I'm gonna say whatever I'm feeling at that moment. It might be something different, but it's not the shame thing. And this is why. So last Friday, I had a Zoom call with a subscriber. And it was really cool. Well, it was really cool because, you know, we're just talking about apps and, you know, life and shit. And we probably would have ended up talking for like 8,000 hours, but I had to go to Zumba and like, and when the phone call ended, well, the phone call was this. He reached out to me saying if I wanted to collaborate. And I want to say right now, I'm always down to collaborate. Because it's morning. It's great. Like his concept was he wanted to rotoscope one of my videos rapping. Now I have rotoscoped in After Effects, but it was a long time ago. And I didn't really get anywhere with it. So yeah. And then the specs would be, it had to be 15 seconds, it had to be black and white, and it had to loop. So I could do black and white, that's just a filter thing. 15 seconds was harder than I anticipated. How do you make a loop? Because samples come at different lengths. They could be a minute, they could be 3 minutes, but if you had a 3-minute sample, if you go up to 15 seconds, it technically wouldn't loop, because, I mean, it would loop, but it wouldn't be like smooth. For example, oh, say, can you see? Bye. So if that was where you want to loop, it would just, oh, say, can you see? Bye. Oh, say, can you see? Bye. That could work. But if it was, oh, say, can you see? Oh, say, can you see? That would be a smoother rotation. So I knew I could have done it on the MPC, but I haven't used the MPC app. Well, I don't have the physical MPC, but I have the app, and I know it could do it. So I'm opening it up, but I gotta update it to the newest version. I'm like, wow, that's cool, but I don't know how to use this. I'm trying to do another thing. I'm seeing if I could do it mathematically, because a 15-second loop will translate to a certain tempo in BPM, same thing. But that ain't working. And then I'm like, wait. In live, you could like just take your sample and stretch it, or so I was able to do it in like 5 seconds. So I got the loop, I wrote the rap, and then now I gotta make a video. So I'm like pushing everything on the bed and getting the white wall, but it was a fun little project. And then when I finish, I'm thinking, I got one special effects program. I'm like, and we talked about Procreate on the iPad. So then I open up both programs, and I'm just like, why not? So since that point, I've been like watching tutorials on both Procreate. Like because I got the iPad, I got the pen. It's just like, you might as well get Procreate. But up until like this week, I didn't even know how to get the freaking, because this looks like a big like it's very minimalist, like to get into the menus, and then you got the taps, tap 2 fingers, 3 fingers. Like I read the manual of both of them, and I'm like, oh shit, you could do this, you could do that, wow. And now I'm at the point where I did a couple tests. So now for tonight's stream, I'm gonna make an intro using motion. And it's really easy, you know? So collaborating is cool. Now, I started with the question, you know, you came into this world alone and you die alone, which may be the point, may be the case, may be the fact. However, the time in between that point and this point, you don't have to be alone. You see me flinch, man? Spider sense? But you don't have to be alone. Now, I don't think you should be with people who don't make you feel good about yourself. People who make you feel less than what you are. People who don't big you up. I don't think so I would say to that person, you should be alone if that's your option, because you can't change people easily. I mean, I guess you could like mind control and you could do all that shit. What's happening down there, bike? But it's a lot of work and effort. It's better you either make peace with that. So yeah, I'm open for collaborations. Throwing it out there into the ether. And maybe ether's the wrong place. I think ether equals death, like in Nas and Jay-Z. I'm throwing it out there into the atmosphere. That's more neutral. So I want to collaborate, man. I want to just make music. So I think I mentioned this before, but in my beat battles, sometimes I collaborate with, they're not even beat battles, but sometimes I collaborate with them, and it's just the greatest culmination. Like, they got their beat and they're just throwing their beat. I throw my rap on it and it reaches a bigger audience. Or like the last one I did last week, I'm getting all these emails or this post, wow, that was a really great thing. And for the most part, the beat maker, he's always been doing that. And I always been doing this. It's kind of like Silk, Bruno Mars, and I forget his name. He was on Jeopardy last night. Not on the show, but a question. But Silk, oh man, I feel bad. But that guy and Bruno Mars, I think Silk Chocolate, Silk Factory, Silk Smooth. I know you know who I'm talking about. But like, respectively, they're doing their thing. And then together, I think I heard in an interview, there's just like, yeah, you know, I always knew him, but at some award, we were talking and it just clicked. Like, it's amazing. They're doing so much together. Eminem and Dr. Dre, Snoop and Dr. Dre, Fergie and Black Eyed Peas. I don't know if that's, I mean, it was what it was when it was. I don't know how they feel about it now. Because I could imagine they're chilling somewhere and someone just like, again, trying to make them feel less. Yeah, man, you guys sucked until Fergie. And now that Fergie left, you suck again. But, you know, collectively, I don't think Fergie would have Fergied it up if it wasn't for the collaboration. So, yeah. We came full circle. We came into this world alone. We die alone. But while we are living, we should collaborate and make the world a better place through our collaboration. So, throwing an invitation out there. Yeah. So we hit that 40-minute mark, and as always, I'm gonna listen to some music. Oh, last thing. So yesterday I went to the gym, and I was trying to make a video in the car as always. I got there at 7, or I got there at 8. I got there at 8 o'clock, and then I was gonna get into the gym at 9, exercise, and then Zumba at 9:45. But I was working on this video in the car, making the beats, and it took so long. Like, I spent all the time prepping, and since I had the 360, I would have to clean up the car to make it look a little presentable. And by the time I look up, it's 9 o'clock. I'm like, oh shit. But I still didn't record yet, so I just throw a quick freestyle, like just a one take. Usually these are only one takes. And then I run into the gym, I get 20 minutes on the elliptical. I usually do 30 minutes. And then I, Zumba. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to come back to the gym tonight to, get my proper working. So I'm sitting there at the house watching motion. I was like, I should finish this up and then go to the gym. And I was like a light bulb went off. Why don't I watch the tutorial video on my iPad while doing the elliptical? And I'm just like, So I get to the gym, I connect to the Wi-Fi, I put my iPad there, and I'm doing my elliptical. And it's like, wow, wow. And then after 27 minutes, I usually stop. Because the elliptical is boring. I mean, I listen to music, but after 30 minutes, it's just like, yeah, let's do something else. But because I was watching a 40-minute tutorial, I kept going. So I want to finish. And then I kept going. So I did 2 rounds of my 30 minutes, about an hour, because I was watching the tutorial. So now my mind, body, and spirit are like stronger, which is like here's like, I wish someone would have been like, hey Matt, have you ever thought about, and I was like, no, I haven't. Put that seed in my, because mind you, I've seen other people do it. I saw a lady doing charades. Is it charades? No, that's what people, spades, solitaire. I saw her doing solitaire while she's on thing, and I saw someone else watching soap operas, and I saw someone else reading a ebook, but it never dawned on me that I could watch tutorials. And now I have like a reason, like it's just such a great epiphany, man. So I plan to go tonight, because Motion, the app that I'm using, it's a pretty deep program with lots of stuff to know. The manual, it didn't help. Like, you literally need to either take a course or watch a shitload of videos. So I found this one guy that he goes, I think there's 13 videos in his thing, and he just goes right down the order. This is how you make a, now some of it, because I've been using, I've owned Motion for at least 10 years, because it used to, I've owned it. I opened it up, I played around in it. I know the basic layout, similar to Final Cut. But shit like how to make something turn 3D, I don't know that shit. But yeah, so I'm just gonna go to the gym and exercise and learn, and you're gonna see the results in the content I put out. Because once I know it, I could like kind of do it faster. Like, if I want this black and white, I could do that. But if I had to like research it, then I'd probably just get tired and not do it. But yeah, so I just wanted to end it there. And actually, let me show you, I don't want to show someone's misery, but I'm coming to the end of the path, and that's where the cars, where the tree fell on it. I feel bad, man. Like, I got upset. I get upset when I park under the tree, and when I come out, the tree has peed on the car. I don't even know what you call it. Birds poop on you. What do trees do? But it's like covered, like if you touch it, you could like feel, it's just disgusting. And then when you're in the car, you can't even look, like the window looks frosted. And it's just like, ugh. And how my dad is, so my dad banned me from washing the dishes, because once the water is like dirty, I let it go down the drain. My dad, he doesn't like that. He likes to recycle the water. So then be washing the dishes in dirty ass water. But whatever, he banned me from washing dishes, so he washes it. And whatever, I remember I used to get in trouble for not washing dishes. So I didn't I didn't believe my dad would be okay with me taking a bucket of water to go wash the car. However, my dad's just like, why don't you wash the car? And I'm just like, it's gonna rain, according to Apple. I'll let the Mother Nature wash the car. Which, when it rains, because I used to get upset, oh man, it's gonna rain, I gotta go on this. But now when I wake up and I hear it rain, like, yes, my car is being cleaned. And I do my best not to park under the trees, although I made peace with the trees. Because without trees, we wouldn't be getting a lot of oxygen, right? So I thank the trees for all they do for us. And I just ask, can you please not do what you do on my car? So I'm gonna show you this car. I send your prayers. Hope no one was hurt. I hope that their insurance covers all this shit. So here it is. Like, that shit's just unexpected. Like even if you had insurance, it still wouldn't have been a cool thing. Like, come out unless you're like, I really don't want to go to work today. Really don't want. I already used the excuse that my kids are sick. I already had COVID 3 times. I really don't want to go to work. You come out, bam. Yes, new reason. But yeah, that's my video. I hope you guys are great, and I will see you tonight, either at 5:30 or 6. I'm not sure. They'll be there. All right, peace.